What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I would like to welcome you all to another edition of Wayne's Perspective, where we operate in discipline, decency, integrity, and respect. And I'm coming through with another video just for you. All right, y'all. So before we get into today's video, which is going to be a very good one, I just want to say, currently, I'm 40 years old. I had my birthday on yesterday, which, as of this posting or video, I should say, it is June 26, 2024, 6:56 p.m. in the Richmond, Virginia area, hashtag 804. So, yep, I'm officially 40 years old. So, just to talk briefly about my birthday, if you've been following me, y'all would know that I initially said that I wanted a celebration, excuse me, in Petersburg with my family and friends, but it didn't materialize. So the next best thing appeared, which for the second straight year, me and my lady, we celebrated. She took me to dinner and things like that. Yes, that's still a thing in 2024. Your woman treating her man to dinner. There's nothing wrong with that. So I had a good time there. We had a normal good time like we always do when we get together and things like that. Now, even though my overall birthday was pretty good, I heard from the normal people that I would hear from, family and friends wise. But the way that it ended was the key thing, y'all. So check this here. You know, I've received a lot of good to great gifts on my birthday throughout the years. Now, ever since I turned what 19 or 20, when it came to my birthday, I never really asked for anything. If anyone decided to give me anything out of the graciousness of their heart, I always accepted it. If you came to me and asked me what I wanted for my birthday, or trust me, I'll find something. But excuse me, since I became an adult, that's really not anything that I chose to do, because when you're an adult, you're at a point where whatever it is that you want, you can pretty much get it if you have the means. You don't have to really go to too many people like you would have done prior to turning 18, saying, I want this for my birthday, can you get it? Or I want that for my birthday, can you get it? So, I've been stopped that, and I think my son, he turns 18 on September the 21st, and I think he's probably going to get to that point too if he's not there already. But getting back to the topic at hand. So the way my birthday ended was quite memorable. So me and my lady was talking, and out of nowhere, she pretty much tells me that she had another surprise in store for me in terms of a birthday present. So she went on her phone, and not only did she pull up a picture of Nas, which, as you know, if you've been following my channel, Nas is my number one favorite MC of all time, and she showed me some tickets. Lo and behold, she got us tickets to go to his July 19th concert in Albany, New York. Now, for a minute or so, I was in shock. Like I was speechless. And she was telling me a couple of times already that my response, the facial response, I should say, has said it all. And she's gonna always remember that because I was in total shock and surprise. I was not expecting that at all. So of course I was all smiles. I thanked her for that. And I mean, I really appreciate that because she knows how I am about Nas. So man, this is going to be a first. Now, Nas has been my favorite MC for almost 25 years. So the fact that I'm going to be going to one of his concerts for the first time ever, that's a big deal to me. That's a huge deal. And trust and believe, I'm going to talk about my experience on my channel, and I'm definitely going to enjoy that. That's July 19th. So we're looking at what, maybe 4 or 5 weeks away, maybe 6. My count may or may not be off, but man, I could not believe it. I was, I didn't cry or anything. I could have, but I mean, I couldn't thank her enough for that. So, so for the second straight year, she made my birthday quite the memorable one. So major shout outs to my lady for that one. I never forget that. And all roads lead to July 19th. It's shaping up to be a great few weeks leading up to that, so that entire weekend is going to be a great one. And like I said, I'm going to come back to my channel and talk to y'all about that. So man, shout out to my lady for that one, y'all. No problems with that. Now that we got that all out the way, let's get to the topic at hand. And you've already seen the name. Let's talk about being sassy. this word sassy is being thrown around a lot these days, and naturally where it's coming from is coming on dating shows. You know, you're seeing it, or should I say hearing it on podcasts that features the majority of black women. That's usually who's doing that. And on the side note, you notice that is you that white men and white women don't have these types of conversations. It's usually our community that's doing it. You know, you don't really hear white women calling white men sassy. You know, it's why is it always the brothers and the sisters? And you know, now I know my fellas listening to this, you know, but ladies, I want to talk to y'all as well because you know we gotta have another talk here. So, like I said, there's this growing notion that when it comes to how men respond to women, whether they're rejecting a woman or putting her in her place in a manner of speaking, or holding them accountable, whatever the case may be, that's being sassy, you know. And apparently, one issue of several is that it's not what's being said, but how it's being said. Okay, in one instance, I can agree with that, but you know, is sassy the right word for this? And as a matter of fact, let me take a look at something right quick. I'm gonna share my screen with you all. This is courtesy of Sassy, no, not sassy.com, vocabulary.com. Now, here's what they say is the definition of sassy. This was the first thing that came up when I did a Google search. Now, we can always get a different definition or something similar elsewhere, but this is the first thing that came up. So take a look at this right here. It says sassy means bold or fresh. If you see your teacher in the grocery store with her attractive, well-dressed husband, and you charge right over there to say, who's the hunk, that's being very sassy. And then just scrolling down a bit. So it also says improperly forward or bold. You also got fresh, impertinent, impudent, overbold, saucy, smart, wise, used of wow, excuse that blunder. Temperament or behavior, lacking restraint or modesty, you know. So that right there, that's the definition of being sassy. Now, of course, sassy is one of those words. It's not even a controversial word, but then again, in present day 2024, people are making the word controversial. But the word sassy can mean different things to different people. You know, my definition of sassy may be different from the next man, just like a woman's definition of sassy can be and most likely would be different from the next woman's definition of sassy. But we're going to talk about that. So like I said, just to repeat something before I get into my talking points here, this notion of men being sassy is usually when it comes to black men, you know, and it's coming from black women. And when men either reject a woman, put her in a place, or hold her accountable, that's being sassy. And also, like I said, one issue, and there's several of them, is that it's not what's being said, but how it's being said. So I'm going to address that all and some more as we continue on. So like I said, fellas, I know y'all rocking with me, but ladies, let's have a talk. Let's have a talk for a minute. Okay. All right. Now, the first thing is the tone. Okay. Now, whether you're on a dating show or not, whether you're in person or not, or you're talking on the phone or whatever the case may be, ladies, don't you want your man to sound like a man? You know, because where I come from, sounding like anything less, you would look at him as less than a man, right? Isn't that one of the things that we've often been a part of for like the last several decades? You know, you want your man to sound like one, and if he doesn't, well, you're going to call him out for not sounding like a man. And don't even get me started on if he doesn't sound like a man and don't look the part. Oh yeah, you're going to clown him for that. You know, now men, we don't clown other men like that. You know, how you look is how you look, and how you sound is how you sound. But I thought that when it came to a man's tone, you want him to sound like a man, and anything less is unacceptable, right? I mean, I thought that was the line of thinking here. But I digress. Just like on the man's end, we want our women to sound like women. You know, now if the woman has a little bit of bass in her voice, okay, we can deal with that, you know, but we do want our women to sound like a woman, you know, feminine and elegant. You know, it's all about the verbal acumen here. That's what we've been accustomed to. You know, that's what we expect. Now, I don't think we're going to get to a point, if we're not there already, I don't think we're going to get to a point where one of the requirements is for a woman to sound like a woman, because that should be a normal thing, right? So overall, I get it. The tone is important, but ladies, don't you want your man to sound like a man? Whether it's your Barry White voice, or hell, whether it's my voice, or whether it's the Denzel Washington voice, the Samuel Jackson voice, things like that. Just to name a few examples. That's what I thought. You know, but let's continue on. So now, after tone, we go to disrespect. Now, it seems like in present day 2024, there's a different definition of disrespect, just like there's a different definition of other critical and key words that we've been using for decades upon decades now. So just to focus in on this disrespect word. So, okay, let me ask, does being rejected equate to disrespect? Well, the quick answer in my view is no. Disrespectful, just to use an example, disrespectful or being disrespectful is being called out of your name after being rejected. And it doesn't matter whether it's coming from the man's end or a woman's end. Now, as an example, and I'm gonna give another personal example too. For example, if a man approaches a woman and she doesn't want to be bothered for whatever reason, you leave her alone. But if you approach her and you have a conversation or whatnot, and she rejects you, for her reasons. Maybe she's not attracted to you, maybe she's not feeling you, or hell, maybe she's in a relationship, maybe she's engaged, maybe she's married, or maybe she's separated but still legally married, whatever the case may be. Now, if the man turns around and calls her all kinds of names and says something akin to, well, I ain't want to talk to you anyway, or something like that, y'all know what I'm talking about. When you get to that level of disrespect, I guess, that is disrespect. If a woman rejects you for whatever kind of reason, now let's keep it clear. How the woman rejects you, that's a part of it too. You don't just want to give the guy straight up attitude and try to embarrass him in front of everybody. That's wrong, and that's disrespect too. But when you get to name calling, that's disrespect no matter where it's coming from. When you get to even getting to a point where you're starting to threaten people, that's a route that you should never go to. But when we're talking about calling people out of their names, no matter where it's coming from, that's disrespect. Rejecting someone or turning someone down, that is not disrespect. Let me repeat that. Rejecting someone or turning someone down is not disrespect. Now, there is another piece to that. It's all in how you do it. Case in point, let me give you an example. A real world example from my own personal life. This was back in 2022. Okay, there was a girl who was at one of the car washes that I used to go to that's close to where I stay at. So of course I'm detailing my vehicle, wiping it down, vacuuming, doing the whole nine. Now when she caught my eye, now for starters, she did look a little younger than me, but I didn't even ask her age or anything. So I was like, man, she cute. So I already had the thought in my mind that before we leave, I am going to approach her, which is what I did. I spoke to her. My response was pretty much like, my name is Wayne. What's your name? And of course, I can't recall her name. Even with my great memory, I don't remember her name. So, I pretty much told her that, I thought she was cute and I'm interested in talking to her, or no, I didn't say that. I think I said, you're cute, and before you leave here, I would like to get your number so I could call you sometimes, and I'm paraphrasing it. Like I said, this was 2 years ago. And she said, she had a big smile on her face. I remember that much. And she was like, well, I appreciate you approaching me the way that you did, but I have someone. And I was like, damn, and right there I said, well, I'm glad I still approached you, but I appreciate you being honest. And, from there, I went back to detailing my vehicle. She finished doing what she was doing and she left. That was it. I wasn't on some disrespectful nonsense or calling her out her name because she told me she had someone. Now, if she didn't have someone and she told me that, well, I appreciate it, but I'm just not interested, I would have been like, all right, okay, and left it alone. Now, nobody likes to be rejected. I mean, we're humans. Nobody likes that, but it's all in how you do it. You don't have to be disrespectful. You don't have to be spiteful. And you don't have to call people names or try to put people on the spot or try to embarrass somebody just to get a point across. And while anybody, man or woman, would see that that's fun, that's weird. That's some weird stuff right there if you get off on doing such a thing like that. So I just wanted to share that example. And also, speaking of examples, I got another one now. I am going to get a little vulgar here. So parental discretion advised, or should I say parental advisory explicit lyrics. Y'all remember the sticker on front of album covers. So for my old school hip hop fans, y'all remember the Lost Boys. I still listen to them a lot these days. On their first album, Legal Drug Money, there was this song called Is This the Part? Now, that first verse, and I'm about to quote some of the lyrics from here because I remember it off the top of my head. I'm about to quote some of the lyrics from that first verse because what I just talked about basically tells this story, and I am going to talk about it on both, on two different ends. Now, Mr. Cheeks, he came through. He was like, he was talking about a girl that he had met for the first time. Apparently, he had eyes on her back in the day, but now he was meeting her. So the lyrics was something like, he said, I remember when we first met, everything was chill. A nigga from the south side, a shorty from the Springfield. So you're looking fly, right, Ty? I says hello, but I gets no reply. I'm leaning on the gate. I says hello, she ain't talking. Oh, you a stank bitch. Well, stank bitch, you keep walking. Oh, I ain't no bitch. Well, now shorty, you reply, but couldn't you reply when the nigga said hi? That right there, that tells the story right there. So, Cheeks wanted to, talk to her, but she wasn't budging. But only when he said the B word, that's when she responded. Just like in Poetic Justice, when Tupac's character Lucky tried to talk to Justice, Janet Jackson's character, and Janet Jackson won't having it. So y'all saw when Tupac looked over as if to say, I'm gonna say this, and I know I'm gonna ruffle some feathers, which is what he did. And parental discretion advised. Tupac said, I think, what did he say? I think he said, oh, so you one of the mean bitches, huh? Feminist. And you saw the look on his face like, yeah, I'm going to get something started. And Justice just freaked out. Y'all remember that scene. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But that's the point here. So going back to Cheek's comments and Tupac's comments, you can say on both levels, they were disrespectful. Okay, there's no denying that. But at the same time, they're funny examples, but they're real world examples, because I'm pretty sure most men listening to this, past and present, have experienced things like that. Now, I haven't, thank God. And even if I did experience stuff like that, my response would have been totally different. I just would have left it alone, because at the end of the day, you can't make nobody like you. If they're not feeling you, they're just not feeling you. You can't force that. We talking well beyond the levels of being awkward here, So I just want to throw it out there. So yeah, anytime you calling somebody out their name, that's disrespectful. But it's also, how you approach the situation. If you're ignoring somebody for whatever reason, but the only thing that'll get them talking is if you call them the B word, that's never good. It's never good. Just like, hell, now I don't think any men are doing this, but if a man straight up ignores a woman, but the only thing that can get his attention is if she calls him broke, that's not good either. And trust me, we're going to get to the broke comment too, because that's another thing that's going around. So I just wanted to go into that. And as a matter of fact, we're going to go into that right now. So speaking of disrespect is calling a man broke, bottom of the barrel, and dusty, especially when you have no idea what that man's financial situation is. And why is that the go-to now? In addition to being sassy, women, usually black women, are usually quick to call men, especially black men, sassy, dusty, broke, and bottom of the barrel. Like, why? We're talking about something worse than being called a dog. Y'all remember back in the mid-90s when, women were calling men dogs left and right. And one of the comics on Comic View at the time, I believe it was in either 95 or 96. I think his name was Al Tuma. Yeah, I'm taking it back, y'all. He started one of his sets by saying that, calling a man a dog was one of the most disrespectful things that you can call a man. Yeah, I agree with that then, and I agree with it today, So, I mean, that's disrespectful to call a man broke, bottom of the barrel, and dusty, as well as being sassy, and any other name that you can think of here, Now, Another thing that I want to throw in there is that then you would turn around and say that the man is doing too much if he's flashing his wealth and doing all this stuff online, right? If he's flaunt where he lives, the kind of car he drives, how much money he has, and how much jewelry he owns, and even how many women he has. Now, let's keep it real here. Some of that will attract women, but others will look at that as him doing too much. I mean, that's the thing here. Oh, now I'm sure women would find it disrespectful if a man says there's no value to dating a single mother, right? Even if that same mother has 6 kids by 6 different men. Okay, are we on the same page here? Y'all see what I'm talking about? So it's not disrespectful to call a man broke, dusty, bottom of the barrel, and sassy. You know, that's not disrespectful, but it's disrespectful if you say there's no value to dating a single woman. Help me make this make sense, y'all. I wanted to get to those points right there. And last but not least, let's head into the next thing. Sugarcoating. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're all grown. We're all grown people here, or as my mom would say, we're all grown ass people, right? Now, I'm not saying that we got to be verbally aggressive with one another, because you're not going to solve anything or have anything resembling a productive conversation when you're acting that way. And I'm not saying that neither one of us got to come out of the gate being blunt, but we got to keep it real regarding our thoughts, and continue to conduct ourselves as the adults that we are. We got to continue to do that. Now, what kind of society do we live in where we have to treat all women with every single kid glove imaginable, but frown upon treating men the same way? Now, men, we don't ask to be treated with kid gloves. We just don't, because we're men. We're not supposed to be treated with kid gloves no matter what the situation is, but still, why is that the notion now? And also, why is it fair for women to say whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want, with absolutely no pushback? But the moment that they get that same thing in return, that's when the pushback comes. I mean, it makes no sense. It makes no sense to me. So in other words, you're saying that, I can say whatever to you, but you can't say whatever to me, and that goes into the whole argument thing now. Okay, as humans, when you're in relationships, marriages, and stuff like that, people are going to argue. Okay, now nobody should be arguing on a day-to-day basis, because that's not healthy. Excuse me. If two people are arguing every day or every other day or even weekly, that's not good. That's never good. And that's a serious problem there. Nobody should be doing all that arguing. But at the same time, two self-respecting people, even the most compatible people, go and butt heads. I mean, I've been there. Me and my lady, we butt heads before in previous relationships I've been in. We butted heads. Now I realize that that's going to happen. My mom told me that every day is not going to be a good one. So yeah, there are going to be some arguments and disagreements. That's what adults do. I mean, that's just the reality of it. There's no way around it. But at the same time, as adults, we don't let people talk to us any kind of way. Now speaking from a man's point of view, and I'm sure the fellas can back me up on this, now, no, it's not that we want to be disrespectful and verbally aggressive and abusive out of the gate when it comes to women. But my sisters, y'all got to know that as adults, y'all can't talk to people any kind of way and just expect to be treated like angels. No, we don't do that. So if you talk to a man a certain kind of way, believe you me, you're going to get a clap back. The clap back may not be in the form that you wanted. And also, where did this notion come from that even in the midst of an argument, you still have to handle women with kid gloves? They can say whatever they want, call you every name in the book. Hell, they can talk about your mom as far as they're concerned, and you ain't supposed to say nothing. But then you still would say, okay, well, you didn't check me, you didn't come after me, you couldn't handle me right. So you're not a man. So okay, which one is it? Do you want us to check you because you're out of pocket verbally? Do you want that? So you can turn around and say, okay, that's what a real man does. But then on another end, you don't want the man to check you like that because you're a woman. Which one is it? There's no middle ground here. And again, I'm not saying that, the man has to be outright verbally aggressive. Hell, women are verbally aggressive too, some of them, okay? But at the same time, we got to come back to this whole thing where, freedom of speech, that's not even an issue here. But when you're talking about arguing, I mean, look, look, in order for a man to keep and maintain his self-respect, he has to get his points across. Because if a man sees another man being verbally dressed down by a woman and he says nothing, in order for him to maintain his self-respect around his boys, he's going to have to handle that situation, or the men in his circle are going to handle him. Now I know y'all saw what I did there. Now many people may not like that example, but what I did there was I kind of used something that Tret said in the Beef 1 DVD, and I just flipped it to this situation, because whereas what he was talking about in that Beef DVD referred to beef on the streets, in order for the streets to respect you, or should I say, if you're not trying to have any beef with any other artists, don't come with that BS. And if you try to test people, and I'm paraphrasing, and if you try to test people on that level, that man is going to have to, respond. And if he don't respond, then the streets are going to handle him. It was some way that he said it and it made sense. If I had that clip right now, I'll play it. But I think y'all know what I'm talking about when I said it. So just like if a woman is being verbally dressed down by a man in front of her friends, in order for her to keep the respect of her friends, she's going to have to address what that man did. But you see, the difference here is that the woman will automatically ride for her girl, and they would basically step to the man on his behalf, and then it'll be a whole shouting match in public in a restaurant, along with a whole lot of chaos and confusion and all that. Whereas the men wouldn't do that. Now the men would check the man for not standing up for himself and reading that woman the verbal riot act, if you will. So it's a lot of different elements here. But like I said, we should not be operating in a society where women, specifically Black women, can say whatever they want, however they want, whenever they want, with no pushback, especially on the internet. But then when somebody checks you, that's when it becomes a problem. And also, let me say this: you can't talk to certain people a certain kind of way, but then dictate what the pushback is going to be. As if to say, you can call me the worst name in the book, but then you're going to also say, well, I'm going to turn around and dictate how you're going to respond to that. No, it doesn't work that way. That's not fair. It's all about fairness here. A verbal fairness doctrine, if you will. And like I said, as grown ass people, we're going to argue, we're going to have debates. And I've often heard that no two people are going to agree on everything. And if two people agree on every single thing, that's a problem. I do believe that, because, no two people are going to see eye to eye on every single thing. That's just life, and the older that I get, I realize that, and I think most of you listening to this realize that as well. So, I mean, it's all about respect, and it should be applied on both sides. That's the bottom line here, So overall, I mean, we just got to reclaim and redefine critical terms now. And as we head into 2025 and beyond, we just got to do it, because a lot of terms have been taken out of context and ran with. And to be honest with you all, most of that is coming from women. Now, I'm pretty sure most of that comes from men too, but in the case with this sassy thing, no. If you check a woman or put her in her place or reject her, that is not being sassy. And it's damn sure not being broke, dusty, and bottom of the barrel either. So we just got to get a hold of these terms and get them back to their original regular definitions and keep them there. And we can't have second and third and fourth and fifth definitions for words like sassy. I mean, come on, y'all. So that's really all I had to say about this one. Initially, I was not going to do a video today, but after listening to a video regarding that guy from the Pop the Balloon show. I can't think of his name on the top of my head, and I'm not going to do a video on him because it's already enough videos on YouTube about that. The only thing that I say about that brother is that whatever he's going through, hopefully he bounces back and gets back on his feet. I don't have no personal issues with the guy or anything like that, but I just have no additional thoughts, you know. So hopefully he get back on his feet. But with all that being said, y'all, let me know what you think about this whole subject regarding the word sassy and everything in between. All right. And we're going to cut it right there. So if you like what you heard and you're ready to become part of Team Discipline, go ahead and hit that like button. And like I said, drop some comments if you're feeling the content and let me know what you think about this sassy talk, quote unquote. And last but not least, hit that subscribe button along with the bell so you're notified when I drop new videos. And until next time, my people, take care of yourselves and remember a few things. Number one, the power of the mind is valuable. Number two, being rejected or being put in your place and being held accountable is not sassy. I get it. It's a way to do that, but none of that is being sassy, you know. And as adults, we should not be sugarcoating anything. It's a way to get our point across in a productive manner, if you will, but we ain't in the sugarcoating business here. We just not. And yes, it's all about the tone and the delivery. You want the man to sound like a man. You want the woman to sound like a woman. Bottom line. Until next time.